Will Kevin Feige make changes to Phase 5 that will save the MCU? What's up, it's Kendall with Normies and Nerds, where we give you the latest of nerdy and blurry MCU news. Smash a like and subscribe to the channel. Look, I only asked that question because of this. Right after we found out that Kevin Feige called for a creative retreat to plan the next 10 years of Marvel, we get some major changes with the Fantastic Four. The director, Jon Watts, out of here. At the same time, the Marvels and Ant-Man 3 swapped places in 2023, and these stories are pretty significant in themselves. But if you sit back and think about it, there's more tea between the lines. Each story is a sign of how Kevin, aka White Shook, will make changes from what we've been getting in Phase 4, possibly dipping back into that special sauce he made in the Infinity Saga. So let's get into it. Let's start with Jon Watts' departure from Fantastic Four. Deadline reported that Watts just needed a break from the superhero realm after completing the Spidey trilogy with Tom Holland and Zendaya. Both sides, Watts and Marvel, say that was amicable. And this news snuck up on me and a lot of fans here who were really excited to see him work on that movie. But even though it was amicable, this gives Feige more reason to go back to the drawing board and really nail down his plans for Phase 5 in the future. Think about this. Right now, I'd imagine Feige would have his favorite set of directors. Think about Taika Waititi, James Gunn, Ryan Coogler, Watts, and of course the Russo brothers, all of which put out the top tier movies in Marvel Phases 1 through 3. And while that's really a lot due to their talent, it's also because they know how to work within the MCU Kevin Feige guideline. And while I've personally been satisfied with Marvel Phase 4 on the movie side and Disney Plus side, I can't sit here and ignore the fact that some people really haven't been vibing with Phase 4 like they did with the other three. And if I see that, best believe Kevin Feige already knows what's good. As complaints with the movies in Phase 4 like The Eternals have been due to largely a lack of connectivity, and the shows on the Plus have been getting ripped on their connectivity and also pacing as well, Feige would see that and think, should I let things continue to slip out of my hands? Or should we go back to the drawing board and tighten things up? And it seems like he's doing the latter, making sure the Phase 5 movies that we might see, titles like Fantastic Four, Blade, Deadpool 3, Captain America 4, and even rumored movies like Nova, Thunderbolts, and X-Men, making sure that those movies and shows in Phase 5 feel more connected and much like they did in the back half of the Infinity Saga. And to be honest, this is a great move because right now it seems like there is a lot going on story-wise in the MCU. And after losing Watts as the director to Fantastic Four, which is likely to be an anchor point in the Secret Wars saga, and then not only to lose Watts, at least for this time being, but James Gunn seems to be done after this next movie, Coogler's desire to come back after Wakanda Forever isn't really set in stone, and yet the Russo brothers seem to only really want to come back for Secret Wars. I can see Feige wanting to make those plans clear so that he can give better guidance to directors who may need it, so he can continue working with new directors that we've seen in Phase 4 without much of a drop-off. These are changes that might make movies like The Eternals feel less out of place, and the shows feel more connected. And speaking on things being connected, let's talk about the Ant-Man 3 and the Marvel swap. Ant-Man 3 was supposed to come out in July of 2023, but now it's back to its original date in February. And the Marvels, the Captain Marvel sequel, is moved to that July spot as Variety reports that insiders say this was a matter of Quantumania simply being further along in the creative process than the Marvels, as the former has wrapped up principal photography while the Marvels has still a bit more to go. Now that sounds good, but yet this could be another Kevin Feige move as well. When Ant-Man 3 was moved to July the first time, I thought it was because they wanted to fit in time to finish Loki Season 2 so it could tee up that Ant-Man 3 and Kang story. But Ant-Man 3 is supposed to be epic, likely involving cameos and obvious tie-ins into the larger thread of what's going to be happening in the multiverse leading to Secret Wars. So just think about this with me for a second. Thor 4, Wakanda Forever, and the Marvels seem to be stories that aren't that massively connected to the multiverse story. And I mean, at the end of the day, there may be Easter eggs or plot points that are being dictated by Kang, but movies like Multiverse of Madness, Quantumania, and likely Fantastic Four will be deep into the Secret Wars story progression, much like the Avengers movies were for the Infinity Saga. Moving Ant-Man 3 in between Black Panther and the Marvels would be a great way to keep that overarching story in the forefront. And all that to say, Kevin Feige really isn't letting shit slip, and that's really because he's making the necessary changes, and that's why he's considered the GOAT. And he's not panicking and changing everything, he's simply reading possibilities and strategizing how to control the outcome. Much like my boy Kang the Conqueror, Kang, Kevin Feige, the same people, bruh. Think about it. But now, to be honest, I personally have been to the moon with Phase 4. Like, as a starting off point to this new saga, I think we're way ahead from where we were in phases 1 and 2 for the Infinity Saga. But I can see how phase 4 is already under more pressure to succeed more than the previous start of the Infinity Saga. And honestly, after this retreat, I don't think anything will get in the way. Not Star Wars, not DC, not anything else will get in the way of Marvel in the box office and nerdy culture for at least the next 10 years. But let me know what you think in the comments. Do you think Feige is making changes, or do you think he even needs to make them? Let me know what you think in the comments below. And also, which phase 4 project that is rumored are you looking forward to the most? Let me know all that and subscribe to the channel. I am your Normie Sensei Kendall here with Normies Nerds. I will see y'all in the next video.